It's midnight. Welcome to Nightline. With me, Brandon Wong. The headlines. Decision on Latifa Koya's appointment as MACC chief is final, says PM. And My Salam scheme expanded to cover university and military hospitals. Good morning. The decision on the appointment of Latifa Koya as the new Chief Commissioner of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, is final. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the appointment was made just as he had done for other senior officers.
Kalau dah putus, kita malam. Takkan nak kali balik lah. Jadi kata saya U-turn. Okey, habis dah.
Tun, hubungan dengan Anwar macam mana?
Ha?
Hubungan dengan Datuk Seri Anwar lepas.
Baik, saya tak ada masalah dengan dia. Dia berhak nak tanya. Saya berhak boleh jawab.
Tun Dr. Mahathir was met at an Aidilfitri open house hosted by Kedah Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Mukhris Tun Dr. Mahathir in Alustar, Kedah on Saturday. The Prime Minister was speaking in response to media reports that PKR President Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim was of the opinion that the Prime Minister should clarify Latifa's appointment as the new MACC chief. Datuk Seri Anwar said a clarification was necessary because without it, Tun Dr. Mahathir's admission that Latifa had been appointed without consulting the government would be perceived as reneging the commitment made in the PH manifesto. Meanwhile, former MACC Chief Commissioner Datuk Seri Muhammad Shukri Abdul said his resignation was in line with a special condition for his appointment last year. He said the condition was to limit his tenure to only 1 year, which was discussed with Tun Dr. Mahathir during a meeting held on May the 14th, 2018.
Saya bawa bersama-sama pergi dengan saya adalah Tan Sri Abdul Kasim lagi sekali. Okey. Tujuan saya bawa Tan Sri Abdul Kasim untuk meyakinkan Tun, supaya bersetuju dengan permohonan saya. Okey, buat Tun. Dan sekali lagi Tun tak beri jawapan yes or no. So tak apalah. Saya tunggulah. Saya tunggulah apa dia punya keputusan. So sehingga habis sampai 1 bulan Mei saya tak terima apa keputusan. Okey. Dan saya terus kerja macam biasa dan masih terima gaji. Sehinggalah 4 bulan Jun saya menghadap Agong.
Speaking to reporters in Putrajaya on Saturday, Datuk Seri Shukri said his focus was mainly to settle the One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB, and SRC International Sendirian Berhad investigations. He said he was confident of achieving this as well as resolving factionalism within the MACC within the span of 6 months to a year. He also said the decision to end his contract earlier was made following his accomplishment in resolving the 2 key issues. Responding to rumours that he was sacked from the MACC due to abuse of power, Datuk Seri Shukri said the accusations were baseless and speculative. He said he had never covered up for anyone while helming the Antigraft agency, as evident by the many high-profile graft probes launched and completed during his tenure as MACC chief.
Panjang saya berkhidmat 33 tahun, 1 sen pun duit rasa saya tak makan. 1 sen pun duit kajian saya tak abuse. Tak pernah saya ambil 1 sen pun duit kajian. So nak tuduh kata saya rasuah, abuse duit, it's very, very baseless.
Datuk Seri Shukri said he was confident that the MACC under the new leadership will continue to investigate high-profile cases without favour or discrimination. At the same media conference, Datuk Seri Shukri also stressed that he has given his full support to his successor. He said he had not questioned Latifa Koya's appointment as the new MACC chief and urged detractors to give her a chance.
Jangan bimbang sebab yang nak buat kerja untuk operasi ini pegawai SPM. Bukan KP SPM. Saya pun bukan saya buat kerja. Saya hanya mobilize mobilize pegawai untuk buat kerja. Macam dengan KP baru ni, walaupun dia tak ada experience dalam kerja SPM, tapi pegawai dia akan buat kerja. Dan pegawai ini memanglah pegawai yang terlatih. So don't worry about that. So benda ni akan berjalan dengan lancar. Soal dia independent, tak independent, ataupun impartial ke atau neutral tak neutral, tengoklah lepas ni.
Datuk Sri Shukri also advised Latifa not to side with any party and lead without fear or favour. The number of fatalities due to road accidents rose to 176 people on the 10th day of Op Selamat 15. This after 17 new deaths were recorded on the third day of Aidilfitri. Police said a total of 16,470 cases of road accidents had been recorded since the operation was launched on May the 29th. Selangor topped the list with 4,403 cases, including 28 deaths, followed by Johor with 2,511 cases, including 25 deaths. A total of 2,902 checks were conducted nationwide, with 217,683 summonses issued for various offences during the operation. Op Selamat focuses on 6 major offences, namely driving in the emergency lane, overtaking on a double line, using mobile phones while driving, queue jumping, speeding and disregarding the traffic lights. As for buildings and house break-ins, there were 441 cases recorded in the country during the operation, which will end on June the 12th. In the meantime, Plus Malaysia Berhad on Saturday confirmed that the Transport Ministry has banned all heavy vehicles from highways beginning June 8th to 9th. Plus Chief Operating Officer Zakaria Ahmad Zabidi in a statement said the move is expected to ease some traffic congestion, especially in uphill areas. He also said that traffic from the north towards Kuala Lumpur was slow moving along the Seberang Perai stretch, from Taiping to Changkat Jering, and on the uphill stretch at the Menora Tunnel heading towards Ipoh. The traffic was also slow along Gua Tempurung uphill stretch from Tapa to Sungai and from Bukit Taga to Sungai Buaya. In the south, traffic was also slow heading to Kuala Lumpur from Sedenak, Senai and Simpang Renggam towards Air Itam, including the uphill stretch in Pedas Linggi heading towards Port Dickson. Plus also advised highway users to take advantage of rest and service areas and lay-bys and take 2 hourly intermittent breaks to freshen up. Police have crippled a migrant smuggling syndicate following the arrest of 11 people, including 3 Malaysians, on May the 27th. The arrests were made at the Padang Besar Customs, Immigration and Quarantine Complex and 2 other locations in the Klang Valley. Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid Bado in a statement on Saturday said the syndicate, which had been active since mid-2018, was using Malaysia as a transit country before sending Sri Lankan nationals to Europe. He said the arrests were made when the syndicate members tried to smuggle a Sri Lankan boy to Thailand via the Padang Besar entrance using a Malaysian travel document. The syndicate had planned to send the boy to Europe illegally. Among those arrested were 3 Malaysians, 2 facilitators and 1 escort, and 8 Sri Lankan migrants. The 3 Malaysians were believed to be involved in smuggling the Sri Lankan migrants out of the country via the Malaysia-Thailand border using Malaysian travel documents. All 3 Malaysians are being investigated under the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012, while the 8 Sri Lankans were detained under the Immigration Act 1959-63. The number of hospitals covered by My Salam, the free National Health Protection Scheme for the low-income or B40 group who undergo medical treatment at government hospitals, has been widened to include 5 university hospitals and 5 military hospitals. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng in a statement on Saturday said this is to enable patients to receive further treatment from specialist doctors. The 5 university hospitals are the University of Malaya Medical Centre in Kuala Lumpur, University Kebangsaan Malaysia Medical Centre in Kuala Lumpur, International Islamic University Malaysia Medical Centre in Kuala Lumpur, University Science Malaysia Hospital in Kelantan and UITM Hospital in Sungai Buloh, Selangor. The military hospitals are Hospital Angkatan Tentera Tuanku Mizan in Kuala Lumpur, Hospital Angkatan Tentera Lumut Perak, Hospital Angkatan Tentera Terendak Camp in Malacca, Hospital Tentera Darat Gemas in Negeri Sembilan, and Hospital Angkatan Tentera Wilayah Kota Kinabalu in Sabah. Patients will be able to receive treatment at these hospitals after getting a specialist doctor's confirmation to be beneficiaries of My Salam, a takaful protection scheme launched in January this year through the government's collaboration with Great Eastern Takaful Berhad. The scheme provides an 8,000 ringgit one-off lump sum payment if beneficiaries are diagnosed with any of the 36 critical illnesses, including cancer, heart disease, muscular dystrophy, and Alzheimer's. There is also a daily hospitalization allowance of 50 ringgit up to a maximum of 700 ringgit a year. Great Eastern Holdings contributed an initial seed funding of 2 billion ringgit to the My Salam Trust Fund. The National Solid Waste Management Department has warned 62 approved permit holders that stern action will be taken against them, including revoking their permits if they are found violating plastic waste regulations. According to the department, companies that were found to have brought contaminated plastic waste or goods into the country will be put on a blacklist, while those that committed a subsequent offence will face suspension and possible revocation of their permits. The department, which is under the purview of the Housing and Local Government Ministry, also said all AP holders are being closely monitored. The warning came after a Johor-based company's permit was suspended for making a false declaration in import documents to evade checks by the authorities. Recently, the government declared war on plastic following a spate of environmental contamination incidents which sparked public outcry. Last month, 60 containers laden with contaminated plastic waste and stranded at Port Klang in Selangor were ordered to be sent back to their respective countries of origin in stages. Apart from this, the media also reported that 265 containers of plastic waste have been stranded at the North Butterworth Container Terminal in Pulau Pinang since January. In Selangor, 9 men, including a 15-year-old teenager, were remanded for 5 days, beginning Saturday, to assist in investigation in a brawl case which resulted in a man being severely injured. The remand order was issued by Bandar Baru Bangi Court Assistant Registrar Nurul Farhana Abdul Hamid. The alleged incident occurred in an entertainment centre in Ceras Selatan on Friday, and the suspects, aged between 15 to 26, were arrested several hours after the brawl. The case is being investigated under Section 148 and 326 of the Penal Code for rioting and causing grievous hurt. Over in Kuala Lumpur, a local singer who was arrested in a raid on Friday for holding a sun bear cub captive in her condominium unit in Desa Pandan claimed she found it by a roadside near a forest area. However, Department of Wildlife and National Parks Perhilitan Director General Datuk Abdul Qadir Abu Hashim said the 27-year-old failed to provide evidence on the matter. Based on the department's initial probe, it was also believed that the 6-month-old cub was obtained from a member of a syndicate. The singer is being investigated for possession of a protected animal under the Wildlife Conservation Act. When we return, Nightline's Esports segment. Don't go away. It's time for our Esports segment, bringing you the latest esports news in Malaysia. As we enjoy the Raya Aidilfitri celebrations with our family and friends, some esports athletes will have to wait until next week to return home and celebrate with their families. Team Junior Talent, one of 5 Malaysian teams participating in the PUBG Mobile Club Open PMCO 2019 Championship, celebrated their Raya festivities in Shanghai, China this year.
PMCO 2019 entered its final week during the Aidilfitri celebrations after 5 weeks of competition among some of the best teams in Southeast Asia. 5 Malaysian teams are currently competing in the online multiplayer battle royale PUBG Mobile League for a prize pool of over 100,000 ringgit. Teams Junior Talent, Udo Gang, AROV Esports, VIP Squad and Secret Genexus began their campaign on May 8th and will compete until June 11th before the playoffs in mid-June. Among the Malaysians who will be celebrating the festivity abroad include team members from junior talent who do not expect much festivities this year.
Kita orang tak payah sangat buat persiapan, tapi kita orang bawa lah baju Melayu just in case. Lepas tu bawa rendang semua. Ya, macam tu lah kot persiapan kita.
Raya semua dah ada dah.
Sebab ni negara luar kan, memang kalau hari Raya Aidilfitri ni memang lain lah. Setiap negara lain. Cuma Malaysia je lah saya rasa yang paling meriah. Tak expect banyak. Just as long as dapat raya tu, alhamdulillah.
Even though the team may not be able to celebrate with loved ones, the Malaysian teams competing in Shanghai plan to host a Raya celebration amongst themselves. All teams will look forward to ending the tournament on a high note with more winner-winner chicken dinners as they play off for the finals.
Saya nak ucapkan selamat raya maaf saya dan batin. Sorry tahun ni tak dapat nak raya sekali, nak salam raya semua. So dari ujung rambut hingga ujung kaki, minta maaf segala dosa yang kita buat. Nanti balik kita raya kan sama-sama.
Untuk family saya, mama, bapa dan adik-beradik saya semua lah. Saya nak minta maaf sebab tak dapat raya sama dan saya semua nak cakap selamat raya mak Aizah batin dan saya minta maaf lah apa kalau saya ada buat salah.
Mama, papa, selamat raya mak Aizah batin. Tahun ni baru terasa, selama ni macam tak kisah je, mana-mana raya je, baru tahun ni dah jauh gila baru terasa. So tunggu Ira balik lah, dia raya nanti.
Mak Ayah, Izzat minta maaf sebab Izzat pun study lagi. So Izzat bagi tahu pasal plan pergi China pun lambat, last minute. So Izzat nak minta maaf daripada awal. Daripada dulu Izzat banyak kena sabar dengan Mak Ayah. Izzat cuba nak capaikan impian Izzat tapi Mak Ayah kurang sikit nak memahami. So Izzat minta maaf sangat-sangat dan Izzat nak sangat balik lah jumpa Mak Ayah. Kami dari Junior Talent ingin mengucapkan Selamat Hari Raya Maaf Zahir dan Batin. Bye.
Hanya rangkaian kata dengan lagu dendam perantau.
Catch the auto segment every Friday on Nightline. Woo! Wow!
Still to come, 3 dead after boat capsizes off the French coast. Details next. We're back with news from the foreign front. In France, 3 lifeboat crew members died when their vessel overturned on Saturday. The incident occurred when the lifeboat was hit by heavy waves due to Storm Miguel, which hit the French coast earlier on Friday. The boat was seen rolling amidst large waves before turning over and running ashore upside down. The deceased were part of a 7-man crew that went in aid of another boat in difficulties due to the storm. 4 other crew members had managed to swim to shore and rescue personnel were deployed to find the remaining bodies. According to officials, the heavy weather was rare, especially in the month of June. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena has told his cabinet that he will not cooperate with the parliamentary investigation into security lapses leading to the Easter suicide bombings. Sirisena summoned an emergency meeting of his cabinet on Friday night to oppose the Parliamentary Select Committee PSC probing the April 21st attack that killed 258 people and wounded nearly 500. According to officials, Sirisena has refused to allow any police, military or intelligence personnel to testify before the committee. The meeting had ended inconclusively, with the government not agreeing to suspend the PSC. Previously, Sirisena's defense secretary and police chief have suggested that the president, who is also the Minister of Defense, Law and Order, did not follow proper protocols in dealing with intelligence reports, including advance warnings about the April 21st bombings. The breather. Hazard bids farewell to Chelsea. Stay with us. Sports football. Eden Hazard hopes Chelsea fans understand why he is making his dream move to Real Madrid that could net the Blues an English record fee. Hazard has signed a 5-year contract to join Real in a deal that could rise to as high as $191.1 million once all bonuses and payments come into play. The flat fee will hit $127.4 million, with Chelsea happy to allow Hazard his big switch for that price, given that he had just 1 year left on his Stamford Bridge deal. 28-year-old Hazard in his Facebook posting insisted he would only have left Chelsea for Madrid. He also stressed that leaving Chelsea was the biggest and toughest decision in his career. Hazard, who arrived at Stamford Bridge from Lille in 2012, leaves Chelsea having bagged 6 major trophies in 7 years with 110 goals in 352 appearances. His final act in Chelsea Blue was to score twice and assist once in the 4-1 Europa League final thrashing of Arsenal in Baku. Hazard will double his wages to more than $500,000 in his 5-year deal in Madrid, becoming the club's second major signing of the summer after Frankfurt striker Luka Jovic. Real Madrid said Hazard will be presented at the Bernabeu on Thursday after undergoing a medical in Madrid. Some of the world's finest and largest sailing ships, some modern warships, and other outstanding vessels gather in Rome for the Armada of Freedom after sailing up the 120 kilometers River Seine to Normandy. Take a look at visuals of the event as we wrap up Nightline this time around. I'm Brandon Wong.